Here is a question for you. How can you be so delusional instead of acknowledging Africa's great historical achievement? Instead, you go ahead and believe in aliens. Welcome to Chunachiki's Africa Secret Files. I am your host, The Blank, and this is a show where we uncover hidden truths concerning the African continent and we try to expose their perpetrators. Today's episode, we will be talking about ancient aliens. I'm sure you guys have heard about it, but before we talk about this very controversial topic, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And please make sure to like. It's the best way to show YouTube this is a good video, and it will subscribe it to more like-minded people like you. Okay, so on our 5th episode, we will be talking about the secret ancient aliens in Africa and how it came about. So let's start from the top. Have you ever heard of this concept of ancient aliens? They try to call it a theory or what, where they claim that aliens built things like the pyramids, the Great Zimbabwe medieval city, and helped the Dogon people, the first people who invented astronomy, to discover the universe. This racist idea has been spread through Western media like the National Geographic, Fox News, the History Channel, and even your dear old Walt Disney. So I'm sure most of you guys have known this ancient aliens thing that especially white males always tend to believe in. It usually goes viral on YouTube, on shows like for Joe Rogan, where they try to downplay Africa's historical achievement just by saying, Africans were too uncivilized and too stupid to build these magnificent things because as white people, we were way smarter than them. So, of course, it had to be, they tried to make up things, aliens, right? As you might know, this is such a old racist tactic where they try to rewrite history, where they try to downplay, where they try to undermine the people of Africa so that they can keep their Western supremacy high and alive. So let's get to the bottom of this problem. Why is it such a huge and concerning issue of millions of white Americans believing that instead of Africans building our continent, instead of Africans having a rich history, instead of Africans having a successful, vibrant, ancient civilization, it had to be aliens, right? The specific idea of ancient aliens as portrayed in the crazy, infamous Ancient Alien program series from History TV and other similar media, like in Joe Rogan's popular podcast, can be traced back to the late Swiss author Erich von Däniken and his 1968 book, The Chariots of God. Von Däniken's book popularized the idea that ancient myths and structures, such as the pyramids in Egypt, were evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, and it had since inspired a subculture of ancient astronaut theorists, enthusiasts, and conspiracy theorists all over the world. So this guy wrote a book based on some crazy notions, and this has since caught on, and now it's even popular than the time even he wrote the book. So let's continue and see why him coming up with this racist, crazy idea was not new, and it was technically not even his actual idea. He just plagiarized somebody more famous than him to popularize a racist Eurocentric notion. Von Däniken is known for having a biased European perspective, and in his false hypothesis in his books about Africa, it disrespects the accomplishment of our forefathers and are essentially racist by belittling the capabilities and cleverness of the entire African people. This guy just took this trend and tried to milk it as much as possible to further portray a racist idea towards Africans, that us Africans are undeveloped and we couldn't possibly have made these magnificent things right now, right? So his own idea was that it had to be aliens, and this is where the problem comes. A piece published in Skeptic magazine in 2004 says that von Däniken drew many of his ideas for his book from H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. The heart of the ancient astronaut theory can be traced back to Lovecraft's work, The Call of the Cthulhu, written in 1926, and At the Mountains of Madness, written in 1931. And we all know that H.P. Lovecraft was a known racist, right? Most of his works were based on the fear of colored people, of African people, of minorities, right? Those fears he used to write in his books, his famous books of The Unknown, was his fear of African people, like him being taken over by like African people being better than his so-called white superior race. Most of his books were based on that. So let's continue. H.P. Lovecraft is a known racist and very proud to hold his racist ideologies that he used in his writings. Lovecraft's views on race were particularly evident in his private letters, where he expressed his belief in white supremacy and his fear and loathing for people of color, immigrants, and other minorities. Yeah, so let's talk about what we just discussed. So this is the thing. Right now, this idea of ancient aliens is being pushed by Western media, right? Huge multi-billion-dollar companies pushing the ideas that Africans didn't accomplish what they accomplished and it had to be aliens, right? These are things like History Channel, National Geographic, the 20th Century Fox, Walt Disney. These are huge multi-billion-dollar companies coming together, having an agenda to disinform, to try to change Africa's history by continually pushing this content to its mostly white audience, right? So that is where we are right now. But the person who came up with ancient aliens was, first of all, a racist, a Eurocentrist, right? And he just copied work from another racist, like one of the most famous racists, like H.P. Lovecraft is called the modern father of racism, together with him, Hitler, and some other people, the people who took racism and modernized it, right, to this new world of publishing, new world of digital media, right? So this guy just took work from a known racist, a famous racist, tried to cover it in a new sheep's clothes and try to portray it to their white majority viewership, to try to brainwash, to try to further the cause of white supremacy, that at the end of the day, white people are better than Africans because Africans didn't build these things. It was just aliens who did it for them. Africans are dumb. Africans are stupid. They don't know even how to lay blocks, right? People like Joe Rogan, till today, is baffled that how ancient Egyptians, right, moved these huge blocks of marble to create like something magnificent as a pyramid, right? For somebody like him, can't have the notion that African people can do that. Like it baffles his mind completely. Like I usually will see his podcast when he talks about these things, and you can even see it in his mind trying to do the mathematics of, okay, my whole life I've been taught that Africans are stupid and useless and can't build anything, but over here we are seeing these Africans do amazing things that we still can't do till today, and he's trying to rationalize how that is possible. So the only alternative solution for somebody like that is aliens, right? And the problem is that, Joe Rogan is just an example of this niche that this Western media have created. These white males who are so racist, right? They would rather believe or do anything, right? They'd rather go out and shoot up a school or a church than believe in equality and that African people are also people, right? So these are the kind of people this Western media, this corporate media, this mainstream media is building, because they're further continuing this lie that ancient aliens helped Africans, right? So let me tell you how crazy this thing is, right? So in racist Zimbabwe, right, like they used to call it Rhodesia, in the curriculum, they used to teach African kids that, Zimbabwe is home, let me just give you context. Zimbabwe is home to the Great Zimbabwe Civilization, which is a medieval civilization that built magnificent structures, right, without using cement, without using any form of mortar, but till today, right, thousands of years later, they're still held up perfectly, right? So they started teaching the Africans in Zimbabwe that it is aliens who did it and not their fellow African Zimbabweans who they found there. So this is the problematic thing that we talk about these ancient aliens. Soon they'll start teaching African kids, American kids, that it's aliens who built the pyramids. Many people till this day still think that aliens built the pyramids because this is not a natural thought. It's something that has to be pushed. Somebody has to be brainwashed. The Joe Rogans, the innocent minds, right? The plain slates, they're just being brainwashed by this Western media that Africans didn't accomplish this, it has to be aliens, right? And the fact that somebody would rather believe in a crazy notion as aliens than just acknowledge the cleverness, the ingenuity of a fellow human being just goes to show how hateful Western white supremacy is, Western supremacy is, right? They take away everything you have. They're saying it is everybody who built the pyramids except the Africans themselves, except the Nubians, except the Kemites who used to live in Africa themselves, right? Like you can imagine. So the historians, the serious ones, the so-called Egyptologists, right? They tried with the Jews, the Greeks, the Arabs, but now the crazy people also added aliens. But it is plain obvious that the people who built the pyramids were Africans of dark skin, of Nubian, and I mean dark skin, even darker, way darker than me, right? There's this hypothesis that says that if the world is destroyed by nuclear hellfire, or like an asteroid that destroyed the dinosaur, or like a cataclysmic, right? After 1,000 years, after 10,000 years, after 100,000 years, only the pyramids will still be standing, right? You can imagine everything else, everything we've built ever since then will be degraded by nature, but only the pyramids will stand till today. So imagine us Africans built something that is traversing through time till now. How magnificent is it? We should be more proud of what we're building. We should acknowledge and take what we live in. Egypt is ours. We built Egypt. Egypt is a magnificent civilization, and it belonged to Africa. That's fact. And regardless if they say aliens, Jewish people, Greeks, Arabs, just know the truth. It's Africa. So with that said, thank you for joining us on our 5th episode for Africa Secret Files. I am your host, The Blank. And please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And remember, Africa is watching.